Hey, welcome back. So this is part 3, where I'm specifically going to be talking about Dante and how I use Dante in the studio, how I think Dante is like absolutely 100% the future of studio recording, how it's used primarily in live sound, and also my patching for it. So yeah, let's get into it. Alright, so let's go ahead and start off with my application of Dante. So I'm a Dante level 3 certified person. I guess I could call myself an engineer. I'll take that. Um, that means I've gone through like 3 levels of training, lots of networking, especially in those level 2 and level 3. I have a background, honestly, probably more so in IT than in audio. I don't think I'm better at IT than I am in audio. I think I'm definitely a little bit more advanced in audio engineering, but in terms of IT, I do. Uh, I'm CCNA certified, or I think I was. It might have expired. Oh, you know what I mean? Um, I do have my uh, A plus certification, and I think my Network plus certification. Anyway, point is, right? I'm pretty good with this stuff. I've built much larger Dante networks. This is really one or two clients, basically. I don't even have a switch for this. It's literally an Ethernet cable going out of the back of the console into my second. It's a PCI slot card, but into my second network card in this computer. And you'll see that that's what this is. This network interface Ethernet here. And it's running at 1 gigabit per second. I don't even need that since I'm only doing 16 channels by 16 channels. Basically, like I said before, and you can see here pretty clear, this is named CubeDME, but channel 1 transmitting from my computer goes to channel 1 receiving on the console. That goes all the way down to 1616. Same thing up here on transmitting from the console. It's receiving on channel 1 of my desktop, and that same thing goes all the way down. I have in the past done some stuff like adding a second machine. So it's off camera right now, but I have a Mac Mini right there that I'll sometimes use for sampling. I'll use it for like Logic. I'll use it for virtual instruments, and then I'll change up my patching a little bit. So it'll basically be like some channels going from the Mac into the console into the PC, or sometimes even just Mac to PC. I know there are easier ways to do that, but it's a simple enough solution. I throw in a cheap switch then, and that's that. I call it even there. There isn't really too much else to say about my application of Dante. I do want to say that I think Dante is absolutely going to be the future of studio recording. Eventually, people will get tired of having to use stuff like Avid's HDIO, nowadays Avid's Matrix stuff. People who use it will expressly be doing it for the reasons of processing in Pro Tools. That I completely understand. That's the only reason I would ever get an HDIO card or PCI card. I do think that most people will evolve towards getting like Burl has a lot of, I think it's like up to 64 in, 64 out rack units that are Dante enabled. So you can throw like 2 of those and you will have every input and output patch perfectly set up. You won't need to have like 8 different Avid boxes. We'll have 1, maybe 2 Dante converters, and that's going into your machine expressly over Dante, over 1 Ethernet card, 1 Ethernet cable from a switch. That's it. Even if you have a big, huge analog console, like let's say you have a 9000J, it's 96 channels. You get 164 channel converter, 132 channel converter. You have everything covered. 264 channels, you even have some outboard gear hooked directly into Dante, so you can use it as insert patches in DAWs. I think that's just how it's going to end up being eventually. I don't think we're quite there yet. I think it's mostly just people who still have, like I said, Avid stuff, and that's a hard ecosystem to break out of. But like, especially in this application, if I ever do get like an analog console, like I mean, shit, an SSL Origin, right? It's a $50,000 console, so I'd never afford it. But if I wanted to just take that console, I could hook it up to this console, use this console for ADDA conversion, out it through Dante into my machine, and then I can write automation with the console if I want, for whatever reason. Like I was saying, eventually Dante will be standard place in all studios. I know a lot of studios already are using it in some scenarios, but it's quite limited now. Eventually, I do think that for everything except input patches on mics, I don't even know about that. I was gonna say, well, patching cables, right? I think it's basically all gonna be over Ethernet, which I think is a good way to go, because you can get up to 512 by 512 channels over a single line of Ethernet, with Dante. That was a very long tangent to say I like Dante, and I think people should use more Dante. Dante is also pretty much standard place nowadays in live sound. So no matter what console you have, even if it's an Avid console, you will have absolutely an option to have a Dante card added. X32, like Behringer has it, Midas has it, Yamaha, it's built into the console on the newer stuff like the CL and the PM series. You have 64 by 64 channels, plus you can add in the cards I have, the same exact cards I have in this console, into the CL series, and get 16 more channels per slot. You have 4 slots on the CL series. So yeah, it's commonplace. It's great. From stage box, you can, not having to use any splitter cables, go to both your front of house console and your monitor console, using patching it just correctly, right? So you do, like, let's say I had another device here, I just double up on my receivers. Super simple, super great. Doing the Dante certification is pretty good as well. I'd recommend it. It's free. It might take you maybe 3 days to finish, assuming like moderate work. So yeah, I think that's it for my rant on Dante. Hey, thanks for watching. I know in the intro I said it'd be 5-part. I think it ended up being 4-part, maybe 3. I don't quite remember. I think it was 4. Most of it was rambling. There's only a little bit of me showing you how I have everything patched. I'd honestly be surprised if I ever edit this and get around to uploading it. I think I might want to do the scripted in the future, but if you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. I'm more than happy to answer them, if not in a response comment, in a response video. And yeah, that's about it. If you have any suggestions, maybe suggest that I script this more, that way I actually get on it, because otherwise I know I'm not going to. Because yes, I know I ramble a lot. I can't keep a fucking coherent train of thought. But yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching.